First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. As you know, you're the first person that I've managed to get to say yes. We've had a couple of logistical issues with some other people, but I'm glad to be able to be welcomed us into your home to be able to talk about this. I guess the first thing is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 32 years old. Recently got married.
Nice.
It's very exciting. And I've been sober 3.5 years.
Well done.
And in that time I've set up my own business. Got my physical health back to more what it should be. And yeah, absolutely loving every single day of my life.
Good. Was there anything in particular that, any sort of day that made you just think, I've got to stop what I'm doing, or did you do it gradually, or was it just a one and done?
I think it'd been leading up for a while. I think with these things you quite often know in the back of your mind that something's not sitting right or something's not quite right, but you just ignore it and carry on because...
Yeah, you just wash it down with another one. Or,
you
I just need a good night to cheer up.
Yeah, you just keep going.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was really not very well, and mentally and physically, and I thought, I need to stop this, need to figure something else out.
Was it something that did you speak to anyone else about it first? Did you speak to friends, family, saying, I'm feeling like this is too much, or I'm feeling like I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, or was it something that you just took upon yourself and you just announced? You just said, I'm done, or... I
think my husband had a fair input in helping me realise that there was something not right. So we'd spoken, in the many, many years and months lead up to it about there potentially being an issue there, and we tried all these different ways of trying to cut down, and nothing ever really worked. I'd always find a way to get back to what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so he was concerned for a while before.
Yeah, and he'd voiced it to, we talked to we're very open, talked to each other about everything, and he sort of said, we are drifting apart, and I think I'm getting to the point where I'm scared that I'm going to come in down one morning and I'm going to find you dead.
Yeah.
I thought, oh Christ. Well, that's I don't want that.
It's similar to as I told you earlier, I had a similar situation where it was the partner at the time basically said, I can't do this. If you want to do it, you want to keep going in this path, you're on your own.
Yeah.
But, having someone that loves you that much to be able to sit down and say, it's I can't watch you, it's too painful. That's probably, I think, the biggest push that a lot of people are getting at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just, it never seems to be, I don't want to do this to myself. It's always, I can't do it to that other person.
Yeah.
I always found a lot of people that I spoke to, when we're in that kind of state, when we're in that level of, you not even recognise self-destruction. Pull the plug straight away? Did you wean yourself down, or...?
No, I just pulled a plug.
Yeah.
I think it was New Year's Day. We'd had friends come over because Joe's got a tradition where he watches animation films that have come out that previous year.
Okay.
And saves them to watch on New Year's Day. So we'd invited a couple of friends around to have Chinese and watch these films, and I think I realised at that point I was the only one getting messed up, and I think it was halfway through the box of wine I thought, no one else is drinking, it's just me.
Yeah, well, you're the only one in a room of friends that sat there and you think, you guys are boring.
Yeah.
But that one time when you think, oh shit, am I the boring one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even sit in a room of friends and just watch a film.
Yeah. I think that I just realised on that day it was this is just typical me. And I thought, I don't want to be a typical kind of person.
Yeah, you don't.
Like, you could have had just a nice Chinese, you could have got, nice sort of sleepover snacks in, and you could just sit here and cuddle up with your friends, but instead you're sneaking out to the kitchen to drink out the box of wine.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see people to see how much you're taking on.
And box wine's never classy either.
Oh, it's not for me. No.
Yeah, when you're trying to hide the amount that you're drinking, like you said, then you're sneaking out of a room actively try and consume it when other people are, oh, what are you doing? I'm just getting a good drink, just doing this. But having to try and, that's one of the biggest things, is stealing it away so that other people don't realise how much you've got, and unfortunately at that point everyone knows what you do. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest signs that I would say to people is if you are hiding the amount that you're drinking, or if you're trying to just downplay it to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an area that you need to have a little look and think at. I think that's one of the turning points where I knew that I had a problem, was when I started hiding it. Because I think it had always been like, since, uni, I'd always drunk more than other people, and people had noticed it, and it became kind of a, God, you can really drink. And it was almost like a badge of pride.
Yeah, because everyone else had a bottle to share, but this was my bottle.
Yeah.
And I wrote my name on it. I made sure that it was basically attached to me at all points, because why would I share?
Yeah. This is mine.
Yeah.
This is mine to conquer tonight.
It's horrible that I look back on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think being on the other side now and having such a clear head, I can't quite believe what I used to put my body through.
Yeah.
And my mind.
But it causes brain damage when you get to a certain point. And there's a quote I love from the World Health Organization when they're talking about safe levels of alcohol. And the World Health Organization have come out and said that as far as safe levels go, they cannot recommend any level of alcohol to be safe.
No. Basically,
once you start drinking it, it changes your brain's chemistry and all of the chemicals in your brain, because it's so addictive to want it. So once you sort of made that decision, and you just cut out cold turkey, did you? I know you say your husband was really supportive, and he was glad that you did it because he'd spoke to you about it before. Any other sort of family or friends that did they have any negative reactions to it? I have to ask.
Yeah. My family have been an incredible support system, and I'm, exceedingly lucky to have such a close relationship with them.
Yeah.
They saw all the bad, the bad and the negativity in the lead up to getting sober, and they were nothing but positive helps in the process of getting sober. I'm reluctant to call them friends. A lot of people who I associated with when I was drinking quickly fell off the friendship bandwagon, and when those first few weeks I felt in such a fragile state anyway, to then not have any sort of communication or anything with them, because I wasn't one of them anymore. I didn't drink.
Instantly, like say people who you wouldn't call friends, you thought they were your friends at the time.
Yeah.
But they're your drinking buddies.
Yeah, just drinking buddies. And I think I was, at the time, or several months in, I thought, God, I can't believe so and so hasn't been there for me, or I can't believe I haven't seen so and so. They're not a very good friend, are they? And then the more I thought about it, I thought they were never friends. They were just people you would meet up with perhaps every weekend, because you're all going down the same rabbit warren of escaping something. But I thought they were never your friends. They were just the people that were around you when you weren't very well. And it happens. But there have been some people who have been outstanding.
That's correct.
Absolutely outstanding.
I'm the same. I've got one group who are, my friends, who I didn't know originally when I was still drinking. I knew them. They were friends of a partner that I had. But then once I cut everything out and I cut off, they were the only ones that stuck about. Yeah. I had people who I believed were friends who, even I would still meet up with them afterwards because I wanted to be around them still. I'd still stupidly go out to the pub with them and try and drink soft drinks around them. That was before we had the big craze of alcohol-free drinks now that we're so lucky to have. But yeah, I made the stupid mistake of trying to be around these people who were no good for me and would constantly try and be like, oh, come on, just have one or two. Your partner's not here, she's not going to know. And there was one bar that I went to, I can't remember where it was, at one pub. And the guy behind the bar was like, yeah, if you're going to come to the pub, you may as well have a drink. And I thought, I've tried to sort of bleed out to these guys why I'm doing this, what I'm doing. I'm fed up of waking up in hospital or in a bush or waking up. I nearly had a heart attack at one point due to the fact of drinking so much, and you get these people who will think, well, you've just been boring now.
Mm.
But like you say, you have that one support network of people who will encourage you. On a Friday or Saturday night, they're actively making sure that you've got something to do, or what you up to tonight. Come over here. We'll play board games. We'll just sit here and we'll chat the shit. We'll just do anything that isn't going to make you sit there at home on your own.
Yeah.
On a Friday, Saturday night when you're just like bored now. Yeah, those first couple of years when it seemed like they weren't supportive of it, or they were trying to do anything that they could to break your streak.
Yeah.
You've had your 6 months, 7 months, a year of not drinking. Just go out and drink to celebrate. People don't get it. It's not something we're doing for a temporary basis. It's not, I'm going to take a break for 18 months.
No.
I'm not doing this. I'm done.
Yeah.
And trying to get that over to some people, especially now that summer's been across. We've had, festival season's been around. Not that I've been lucky to go to any. Barbecues left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And even still, family events, people expect in some situation, what would you not have to drink? It's a barbecue. Just have one.
No.
That has got to be I think, my least favourite phrase now. I can't bear hearing the just have one.
Yeah.
But even now, I don't think I could have just one.
No.
I mean, yeah, I know I have an addictive personality. Hell, I can't eat one bar of chocolate. Let alone a single pint.
Yeah. No, it's exactly the same. I think if you know that, then you build that into your coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
But I was the same as you. Never just have one. It was never even just one bottle of something.
Yeah.
It was always multiple of everything.
Yeah.
And you just yeah. Once you know that about yourself, it is almost easier to deal with, in a sense, because you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. In the lead up to our wedding, I had a few people, not anyone that came to the wedding, but a few people saying, "Oh well, you'll have a glass of champagne on your wedding day, won't you?" Well, why would I? Well, it's a celebration. I thought, yeah, I've got my sippy cup. I've got a special wedding day sippy cup. I've got my own bottles of pop. Yes, I will have something fizzy, but it's definitely not going to have alcohol in it.
No.
And some people just could not wrap their heads around not having a celebratory glass of Prosecco or champagne. I thought, do you know how damaging that would be if one sip came near my lips, that would be it, done for.
Yeah, especially at something like your wedding. It's your wedding. If you wanted to have a dry wedding where no one was allowed to drink, it's still your wedding. People shouldn't be questioning this, especially at a day like that. But you are right. It's so British to be like, oh, it's a celebration. You know what? Get the beers in.
Yeah. I mean, we did have drinks at our wedding.
Yeah.
Because, Joe does still very occasionally enjoy to have a drink. I don't mind, I don't mind what he does.
Because he's able to do it sensibly.
Yeah, and he's able to have one because he just fancies it.
Yeah.
And he can just have one. It's not a, let's go on a 5-day bender and see what happens. It's I'm going to watch a rugby game and I'd quite like to have a real ale with that.
Yeah, and
Okay,
you try telling anyone that plays rugby that they can't.
Yeah. He knows how to control, he's always been able to control what he drank.
Yeah.
And he's never been reliant on it. So yeah, we did have drinks at the wedding, but we said to people, because it was a close group of people that came. We just said, if you wouldn't mind bringing whatever you want to drink with you, there will be a welcome drink for when you arrive.
Yeah.
But if there's anything you would like, bring it with you. And I thought if people bring it with them, they're more likely to finish it whilst they're here, or they'll be like, I brought this with me, so I'm going to take it home.
Yeah, instead of leaving it there for you, or you having X amount of bottles. Yeah. And then at the end of the wedding, you've got how many bottles left? What do you do with them? You can't take them home. It's too dangerous to even think about doing that.
No. So we just said, whatever it is, take it with you. And we had the reception here at home,
Nice.
So we did have some bottles left, but we were very careful to have the bar area outside in the garage, so I had no need to go out there whatsoever. I had my own cupboard in the kitchen with my own supply of stuff, and I was quite happy. You know, I had we had lots of cakes and chocolates, and my sort of coping mechanisms for being around people that are drinking and being around that amount of alcohol that's at parties.
Did you change over to any particular drink? I know that when I first went sober, I tried Beck's Blue, too much of that, but then I somehow twigged onto elderflower.
Yeah.
And I think there's a Belvoir elderflower, they did copious bottles.
Yeah.
Every time I went out, that would be what I would drink. Because it was it's not like having a pint of Coke, it was something that was a little different, it was a nicer drink.
Yeah.
It was something that I could treat myself to. Or I tried like the soda tonic and water, or whatever it is. But yeah, the elderflower sort of fruitier, sweeter drinks was what I ended up on.
Yeah, I even now I always go for fizzy pops.
Yeah.
Because that feels like it's my treat.
Mm-hmm.
So always cherry Coke.
Nice.
Always. And then they came out with mango Coke. That was a good day.
I still haven't tried that.
But cream soda. I mean, I've got so many. I've got such a sweet tooth. Anything that is overly sweet, I'm usually all over. I didn't try any of the alcohol-free beers or alcohol-free wines or anything because it's too close to the mark for me.
Just that taste.
I think the taste, but also I think it's more the association.
Okay.
And I think in my mind it was just safer just to completely cut all of it, and I just know that, even if it's a non-alcoholic gin, I don't really want to be reminded of the taste of gin.
Yeah.
So I just have sparkling water and fizzy pops. My coping mechanism to be around people that are drinking is to have some chocolates with me, or my view is that if I take a bag of, say, mini eggs in my handbag to a party, I can look at people drinking and say, well, they've got their treats, but don't worry, you've got your treat here with you. So, and I can just have my own little snack. And at Christmas, my mum had bought some chocolates, for me for Christmas. And she thought she checked them all, and one of them had a small amount of rum liqueur in it.
Yeah.
And I bit into it thinking, this would be a nice bit of marzipan, how lovely. And as soon as I bit into it, I could taste it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I almost didn't quite know what to do.
It's just in your mouth, do I spit it out? Do I swallow it?
Yeah.
What?
And I thought, well, it's going to be the most minute amount of alcohol in this chocolate, but there is no way I was going to swallow that.
I'd say it's the tiniest amount, percentage-wise, or serving amount. It's still something your body freezes up, and it's the fight or flight. It's like, we need to get rid of this right now.
Yeah.
Spit it on the floor, spit it on the cat. I don't care. Just get rid of it.
I had this mushed up piece of chocolate in my mouth, and I'm quickly scrambling for the wrapper it came on, thinking, where are the bloody ingredients? Where is it? Oh my God, it's got rum in it. And I was just like, the family were all around like, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you all right? And I'm just like, no, I'm not okay.
There was I had a similar instance where I thought I'd accidentally. My partner Charlotte she works in food and drink, so sometimes she'll get given samples and given free things from other companies. And once she was given a beer from a company that she really liked. It was in the fridge alongside some alcohol-free beers, and the labels looked very similar. So, cooking along on Friday night, well, I'll have a beer, pop it open, swig. I picked up the wrong beer, realised that I've got a mouthful of actual alcohol, spat it straight into the sink, mini panic attack, had to call her up. I was like, I don't know what I've done. Do I have to reset now? Is my count finished? She's like, no, first of all, you didn't actually drink it.
No.
And second of all, you didn't actively choose to do so. It wasn't something you weren't actively like, fuck it, let's throw it away, let's have a beer. It wasn't something that we'd decided this is going to happen. I'm going to consume alcohol. It was just something that happened accidentally. That panic when it first sets in of, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
It's a horrible feeling.
It is.
But on a more positive note, 3.5 years yourself.
Yeah.
When is your date for your anniversary? Oh, New Year's.
Well, I did it from the last drink
Yeah.
that I would have had. So it's about 10:30 on New Year's Day. Not that I'm counting.
No. Do you do anything for it every year?
No, I haven't done actually. Well, Joe does something for me every year.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to AA or any kind of support groups when I got sober. It was very much a in family kind of coping situation.
Yeah.
But each year he buys me a chip.
Oh, amazing.
And he gets what, like, the first one was your first year of sobriety chip. I think it's very similar to the ones that they would give to you. I don't know if they do it in America or whether they do it here as well, or it's very similar, little chip, and it just sits in my purse.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got 3 of those under my belt now.
Oh.
So they're on pride joy display.
Celebrations are internal. They're with us as a group, my family. It's my 13th this weekend.
Wow, brilliant.
I did have a day booked where I was going to get a tattoo done, but unfortunately that's had to change due to the tattooist double booking himself. But yeah, it's just once a year being able to look back at yourself and think, how far I've come. I've managed to do this. It doesn't need to be a big song and dance.
No.
For me, I quite like that it's quiet because it is a celebration. It's very private. But I often spend a lot of that day being kind of sad. I feel kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
I have to look back and think, oh God, this happened. Why did this? I've got to celebrate on this day because I had to make that choice. So it's a very 50-50 day. You get to look back at yourself and tell yourself, well, another year done. Congratulations. You managed to go a whole 365 days of not, taking anything. But then there's a whole lot of, okay, well, why did we get to this point?
Yeah.
So I want people to be able to look at it and celebrate themselves and definitely look back and think, I've done so well for myself.
Yeah.
But there is that horrible part of us in the background that has to look back and think, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why have I had to get to that point?
But even part of that self-reflection, you should take so much pride in seeing where you were and where you are. And, those little celebrations can come throughout the whole year. It doesn't always just have to be a, once a year kind of opportunity. Because, I've done it where we've gone to, especially when I first got sober, the first wedding that we went to, I was thinking, oh, how am I going to cope with this? I'm all very well being in my own safe place and my own bubble, but being in someone else's bubble for the evening, I was thinking, I know how I would have acted previously, and I haven't got those. I don't do that anymore. So what am I going to have in place instead of? And I found quite a lot of adjustment time, sort of realizing who I was and being confident and comfortable with the person I was. And not having alcohol as a backup was a bit of a And I can't believe I used to have to say I needed to have a drink to dance.
Yeah.
When you could just do this all the time.
And you get to remember your evening.
Yeah, you wake up the next day thinking, I feel fine.
And that's waking up without any hangovers is lovely.
Yeah. And there is nothing better than waking up with a clear mind and just a clear path of what you want to do that day and being able to do it. I think that was probably one of the most refreshing bits for me. I don't know about you, but I never used to be a morning person.
No. And now I'm up 6 a.m.
Yeah!
Yeah.
And for me, that's a huge win.
A lot of people use recovery with exercise. I'm back to running again at the gym. I get up to the gym and my alarm goes off at 5:15 in the morning. Not a chance would I have been able to do that.
No. I wouldn't. Had I not got sober, I wouldn't have my business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand a chance of being able to do markets, of an early morning. Quite often I have to get up at 5:45 in the morning.
To get there set up and
to
be
get
on
up,
time.
yeah. And if I was, still in my old habits, there's no chance I would be able to do any of that.
Is there anything else you want to put out there? Anything to sort of anyone that's thinking of to giving it up, or started their journey into it?
I'd probably just say remember to be kind to yourself. Through no matter what your journey or how you got to where you are or how your recovery goes, every day is a new journey, it's a new adventure, it's a new step, and just be kind to yourself. You're doing everything you can. So
Yes. Finding a coping mechanism that
balances the whole life.
thing that stops you from relapsing or keeps you in that position of staying focused on your goal.
Yeah. But yeah, just say be kind to yourself. Try and surround yourself with like-minded, positive people, and just take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, but I can't even tell you how worth it is.
Yeah. It's so rewarding to think that I'm now where I am now. Like, I wouldn't have survived. I get to see my daughter grow up. I get to make friends and family. I've got a partner that we have an incredible life together. We get to go on these adventures, and and it's something that I should look back on and reward myself for and thank myself for.
Yeah. I think like you, if I was still stuck in my old ways and still practicing those old habits, I wouldn't be here today.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Like I said, that's the first one that I've done. We just kind of winged it, but I really appreciate you being able to be as open as you were and just inviting me into your home to sit here and talk about this.
You're more than welcome, anytime.
Thank you.